Welcome into Steelers Talk, Yinzers. Today we got a great slate of Steelers news and rumors to break down. Brian Flores has been poached by the Minnesota Vikings. We're going to be breaking that down in just a second. And if the Steelers should have promoted him to defensive coordinator. And then we'll be breaking down a rumor here that the Steelers are interested in Jacoby Brissett. Should they replace Mitchel Trubisky with the longtime journeyman quarterback? And then finally, CBS Sports came out with their recent mock draft. It's pretty bad, so stick around to the end of the video to see my reaction to who they have the Steelers taking at number 17 overall. So let's just jump into the first item today, which is that Coach Flores was poached by the Minnesota Vikings. He's going to be their new defensive coordinator, and I just want to extend my thanks and congratulations to Coach Flores, who was a big impact on the Steelers this past season. Kenny Pickett has talked about how how influential he was in the locker room, just getting everything done there, helping him with the 2-minute drill, and then of course the defensive players have talked about how great of a coach he is. He is one of the top coaches and defensive minds and leaders in the National Football League. I think he absolutely deserves this opportunity, and I really think that he's going to do a great job in Minnesota. So go ahead and go into the comment section. Just go ahead and like this video right now to send some love to Coach Flores. Show your appreciation for Coach Flo and what he has done for the Pittsburgh Steelers organization over the past year. We wish him the best of luck in Minnesota. I'm sure he's going to do fantastic, but something that I wasn't really expecting to see on Twitter and on YouTube in the comment section was that a lot of people were talking about how the Steelers should have replaced Teryl Austin with Brian Flores as the defensive coordinator. And if you take a look at the defensive stats for the Steelers overall in 2022, they're kind of middle of the pack, right? Top 10 in points per game allowed, 12th in yards per game allowed, and then takeaways wasn't they were number one in interceptions, but total takeaways only tied for 14th. Same thing with sacks. But second half of the season, when TJ Watt was on the field, this is what it looks like. Number 2 and number 1 in the National Football League. Down the stretch, the Steelers were inarguably one of the best defenses in the National Football League. And to take away Teryl Austin after finally getting his shot, to take it away from him and say, no, we're going to go with this other guy after doing a fantastic job is just wrong in my opinion. Teryl Austin did a great job in 2022. I think he's got some great momentum going into 2023. And although I love Coach Flores, I think he's one of the best defensive minds in football. Promoting him and then demoting or firing Teryl Austin to do that, that would have just left a terrible taste in my mouth. I think that's dirty. I think that's not cool. I think that Teryl Austin has absolutely deserved this opportunity, and then he not only met expectations this past year, but in the second half of the season, he led one of the best defenses in the National Football League. So as much as I hate to see Brian Flores go, I want to give some love to Teryl Austin as well for the job that he has done and give my vote of confidence for the current Steelers DC. So let me know in the comment section right now, is it a mistake to let Brian Flores go and keep Teryl Austin as the defensive coordinator? Type Y if you think yes, or type N if you agree with me and say no. This is the pinned comment on today's video. So whenever you get an ad break here on the show, go into the comment section, find that pinned comment. It'll be right there at the top, and answer today's question. So the Steelers have a tough call on Mitchel Trubisky this offseason. Are they going to cut him and get some cap savings, or are they going to keep him and keep a backup quarterback that they know that they can win with? Gerry Dulac broke this down in his latest article for the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. This is what he had to say. The Steelers have to decide if they want to pay a backup quarterback $8 million in salary, not including incentives, and have to pay him $10.625 million against the salary cap in 2023. That would make Trubisky, 28 years old, among the highest paid backups in the league, if not the highest. And then he goes on to say about Jacoby Brissett that the Steelers are actually pretty interested in him. He says Brissett is familiar with the Steelers system because he played at North Carolina State from 2013 to 2015 when Matt Canada was the offensive coordinator there. Also, Steelers running backs coach Eddie Faulkner and receivers coach Frisman Jackson were members of that staff as well. So coming up, I'm going to give you my thoughts on the whole Trubisky-Brissett debate here. But first, let's have a word from our sponsor at Athletic Greens. I drink AG1 by Athletic Greens literally every day, and I love it. Get comprehensive and complete nutrition, daily nutrition at athleticgreens.com/chatsports. I gave AG1 a try because I wanted more sustained energy throughout my day and wanted a supplement that actually tastes great. I take AG1 in the morning and it makes me feel ready to take on my day. AG1 combines all of your key health products in one convenient and tasty beverage. And in my line of work, guys, sometimes you have to put in those long hours. So AG1 helps me feel energized and sharp so I can be at my best no matter how busy my schedule gets. Covering my nutritional basis for the day literally couldn't be any easier, which is why I trust Athletic Greens. I just mix one small scoop of AG1 with 12 ounces of water and drink it first thing each morning. Done. Easy, simple. I also like that it costs less than $3 a day, which if you ask me is pretty darn good. It's a really effective daily habit with the highest quality sourced ingredients, which of course is a win-win for you and your health. If a comprehensive solution is what you need from your supplemental routine, then Athletic Greens is giving you a free 1-year supply of vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. Go to athleticgreens.com/chatsports. That's athleticgreens.com/chatsports. Check it out. The link is in the comments section and description of today's video. All right, so now let's talk a little bit about Jacoby Brissett. In my opinion, I think if you can save some money by cutting Trubisky and adding Brissett, you should absolutely do it. Let's compare the stats, the 2022 stats of both of these quarterbacks. Jacoby Brissett, pretty solid with 64% completions with 163 yards per game, and then a 12-6 interception ratio, which is pretty darn solid. He won a couple games with Cleveland, kept them afloat for most of the season until Deshaun Watson got back. Of course, they have a great running game there, but you look at Mitchel Trubisky, and he also did pretty decent. Okay, aside from that touchdown to interception ratio there, he had that 3 interception game in relief in the Ravens game this past year. But you look at that completion percentage, pretty solid, pretty decent yards per game. I think that number's driven down a little bit because of some of the relief appearances he's had to do. So I think the real number there is more towards 200 yards per game. And his PFF grade was actually pretty darn good this year. He was in the mid-teens in terms of overall PFF grade this year. So he's a pretty decent backup quarterback. But in my opinion, Jacoby Brissett is the better QB overall. And the reason why I say that is because I think he's a more effective downfield passer. I think he's a better decision maker from within the pocket. I think he turns the ball over less often. And, Mitchel Trubisky's fine. If you want to keep him, that's absolutely within the Steelers' right to do so. Art Rooney II has said that he wants to keep Mitchel Trubisky, but it might make a little bit more sense to go with Jacoby Brissett unless you extend Trubisky. You give Trubisky an extension to become the full-time backup quarterback, maybe give him an additional 2 years, because right now that cap hit is very not pretty, right? It's just above $10 million, but if you stretch that out over the next 3 years and make it more like, I don't know, $6 or $7 million per year, that's something that the Steelers can definitely work with as Kenny Pickett goes through his rookie contract. I think that Mitchel Trubisky is somebody that the Steelers organization likes, so I think that extending Trubisky is probably the most likely scenario here, but I can see why that they would also like Jacoby because he's got connections to the coaching staff, and at the end of the day, he is the better quarterback, so if you can save some money by getting him, I'd say go get that. But let me know in the comment section right now, what should the Pittsburgh Steelers do with Mitchel Trubisky this offseason? Type C if you think cut, or type K if you think keep. All right, so the last bit of segment here, the last segment we got today, there's this new CBS Sports mock draft that came out, and I think CBS Sports has been doing the Steelers dirty lately, and this is who they had them taking at number 17. Anton Harrison, the offensive tackle out of Oklahoma, 17th overall, man. I mean, I like Anton. I think he's a pretty decent player. He had a pretty good year this last year with the Sooners, 72.6 PFF grade, which is in the top 100 of college offensive tackles, and he plays with good technique. He's got good foot speed. He reminds me a little bit of Charles Cross from last year, but he's not quite as refined. And then he needs, in my opinion, he needs to build up that frame. He is 6'6", right? But at 6'6", he's just over 300 pounds. So that you want to see him build some more functional strength. I think that he's susceptible to bull rushes. And in the NFL, you have some of the strongest human beings on the planet playing edge rusher. You have to be able to anchor. You have to be able to be strong and hold up against those bull rushes. And I'm just not sure if Anton Harrison, year one, is ready to take on that challenge. So I'm not sure if I would take him 17th overall. If he's there at 32 and the Steelers still need a tackle, then fine. But I really don't love this pick for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And this is what the mock draft ended up looking like, the final one. They had C.J. Stroud going number 1. I mean, come on, CBS Sports. Really, man? In my opinion, Bryce Young is head and shoulders above everybody else in this draft class. And then look who's still on the board when the Steelers pick. Christian Gonzalez is still there. My number 1 corner in my rankings is there. Broderick Jones is still there. Ends up going to Jacksonville at 24. I think if either Broderick Jones or Christian Gonzalez is on on the board when the Steelers pick, you have to take one of those guys. I think Broderick Jones is much, much stronger than Anton Harrison. I think he's definitely the best offensive tackle for the Steelers. So if he's there, I'm taking him. I'm not taking Anton Harrison. And then, of course, Christian Gonzalez. Lockdown number 1 cornerback. I think he's going to be a top 10 pick come April. I think he's going to be fantastic in the National Football League. If he's there, you got to take him as well. So it's like going Harrison in that. CBS Sports, especially their draft coverage as of late, has been an absolute joke, man. Having C.J. Stroud above Bryce Young, having Christian Gonzalez going 19th. I mean, that organization really needs to get their crap together because it's not been good lately, in my opinion. All right, guys, go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you want comprehensive Steelers news and rumors content this entire NFL offseason, okay? Every time they make a cut, every time they make a trade, every time they make a signing, NFL free agency is right around the corner, guys, so we're going to be having a bunch of breaking news coverage. So go ahead and subscribe to the channel right now, and don't forget to turn on notifications to get notified whenever we have a live show, whenever we go live with breaking news, whenever we put out a new video. So go ahead and subscribe to the channel right now. That'll be it for me today, Yinzers. I will see you guys tomorrow. Peace.